Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Informant, where we uncover the truth behind some of the most shocking cases in true crime history. Today, we're going to delve into the story of Sharmarke Warsame, a man who was wrongly convicted of a heinous crime and spent nearly 2 decades in prison before finally being exonerated. It was February 2001 when 33-year-old Sharmarke Warsame was arrested in Wichita, Kansas, on suspicion of murdering a 16-year-old boy, Dequan Jackson, and raping a 17-year-old girl, Jasmine Nichols. Warsame was a Somali immigrant, having arrived in the United States as a refugee just a year earlier. He was living in a small apartment in Wichita, working at a local restaurant, and trying to make a new life for himself. At the time of his arrest, Warsame was in the middle of a tumultuous relationship with Jasmine Nichols, who was just 16 years old. Police say that after Dequan Jackson was murdered, Warsame became the prime suspect, and a lengthy investigation ensued. Prosecutors would later claim that Warsame had a history of violent behavior, and that he had a deep-seated hatred for the United States. They would also present evidence that Warsame had been in the vicinity of the crime scene on the night of the murders. But despite the seemingly airtight case against him, Warsame's defense team raised several red flags. They pointed out inconsistencies in the police's timeline, discrepancies in the evidence, and questions about the credibility of key witnesses. One of the most critical issues was the testimony of Jasmine Nichols herself. While she was just 16 years old at the time of the crimes, Nichols was also known to have a history of manipulating her emotions and fabricating stories to get attention. Her parents and a therapist would later testify that she had a history of mental health issues and was prone to exaggeration. Additionally, DNA evidence was crucial in the case. However, DNA samples were contaminated during the investigation, which would later be revealed to be due to improper handling by police. As the trial approached, it became clear that something was not quite right. Warsame's defense team was determined to expose the flaws in the case, and on January 8, 2004, the jury delivered a verdict. Warsame was found guilty of both murder and rape. But as Warsame sat in prison, serving a life sentence, his defense team was busy appealing the conviction. They presented new evidence, including a statement from a former police officer who claimed that he had been pressured to secure a conviction. In 2014, a judge ordered a new trial, citing concerns about the reliability of key witness testimony and the mishandling of DNA evidence. 2 years later, on January 26, 2016, the jury delivered another verdict. Warsame was found guilty of murder, but acquitted of rape. Finally, in 2017, the Kansas Court of Appeals ordered a new hearing, citing the fact that the prosecution had withheld exculpatory evidence from Warsame's defense team. And on May 8, 2017, the judge finally granted Warsame a new trial. This time, the prosecution was forced to reveal a treasure trove of evidence that had been withheld during the original trial. It turned out that a former police officer had been secretly working as a confidential informant, providing the prosecution with information that would later be deemed unreliable. On June 27, 2017, the jury delivered a final verdict. Warsame was found not guilty of all charges. Today, Sharmarke Warsame is finally free, having spent nearly 16 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. His case is a stark reminder of the importance of due process and the need for prosecutors to follow the law. And that's where we leave you for today. The story of Sharmarke Warsame is a sobering reminder that sometimes, justice can be blind. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this case. Have you ever heard of a wrongful conviction that shook you to your core? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more episodes of The Informant.